And we're going to be talking about safety in Greater Vancouver. Imagine you're thinking about moving to this beautiful region, the stunning landscapes, the vibrant culture. It all looks so good. But of course, you also want to feel safe and secure.
Of course. That's a huge consideration for anyone. I mean, safety and security are kind of essential, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's where our deep dive comes in today.
Okay, great.
We've got some really interesting data, actually, from Statistics Canada. And it's analyzing crime rates across different cities in the Greater Vancouver area. We're going to be uncovering which cities boast the lowest crime rates and what factors might contribute to their safety.
This will be good.
But we are saving the reveal of the safest city for the very end, so stick with us.
It's going to be a good one.
Now, let's start with some of the usual suspects.
Okay.
Vancouver and Surrey, right?
Okay.
You always hear about these places in the news and stuff, but are they really the safest? What did the data say?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it's really fascinating how perception often doesn't align with reality.
Right.
We might assume that bustling cities, automatically equal higher crime rates, but the data often reveals a slightly different story.
Yeah, for sure.
So to accurately measure crime, we need to look at the Crime Severity Index, or CSI.
Okay.
And this tool goes beyond just the number of crimes, right? And it actually takes into account the severity of each offense.
So a higher CSI score means more serious crimes are happening in that area.
Exactly. And when we look at those CSI scores, Vancouver actually ranks third in the entire province.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, with a score of 148.95. And then Surrey comes in ninth with a CSI of 136.16.
Okay.
These scores are higher than many other cities in the region, suggesting a higher severity of crime.
That's a little bit of an eye-opener because you think bigger city equals more crime.
Right, right.
So what's the data telling us about that assumption?
Yeah, well, it challenges that assumption quite a bit. While larger cities might have a higher volume of crime overall, the severity, like we said, isn't always higher.
Right.
And smaller cities can experience spikes in certain types of crime that then impact their CSI score significantly.
Okay, so if Vancouver and Surrey aren't at the top of the safety charts, which cities are? Where should we be looking?
Okay, so let's look at Delta with a CSI of 72.65.
Okay.
And the District of North Vancouver with a score of 57.85, significantly lower than both Vancouver and Surrey.
Much lower. Yeah.
Yeah. They ranked 18th and 19th in the province, respectively.
Interesting. So we are seeing a potential trend here? Smaller cities, lower CSI scores?
Yeah, seems to be.
But population size must play a role too, right?
Absolutely. That's why we also need to look at crime rates per 100,000 people.
Okay.
So this metric allows us to compare cities of different sizes and understand the likelihood of encountering crime in each area.
All right, I'm following you. So which cities emerge as the safest when we use this metric?
So North Vancouver, once again, stands out.
Okay.
With a remarkably low crime rate of just 2,557 per 100,000 people.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So to put that into perspective, for every 100,000 people in North Vancouver, statistically, you would expect to see around 2,557 crimes reported.
Wow, that's a really low rate compared to what we saw for Vancouver and Surrey.
Yeah.
Are there other contenders for the safest city title?
Yeah, for sure. West Vancouver and Richmond also have relatively low crime rates.
Okay.
Both hovering around 3,506 per 100,000 people.
So far, it seems like the smaller, less densely populated cities are kind of leading the pack in terms of safety.
Yeah.
But there's always an exception, right?
There's got to be.
What about the other end of the spectrum? Which city has the highest crime rate?
So that would be Maple Ridge.
Okay.
It has a crime rate of 7,233 per 100,000 people.
Oh, wow.
So that's significantly higher than any other city we've discussed so far.
Yeah, that is quite a jump.
Yeah.
I'm curious, what factors might contribute to such a significant difference in crime rates between cities like North Vancouver and Maple Ridge?
Yeah, well, it's not just about population size.
Right.
Socioeconomic conditions, community dynamics, and even the types of crimes prevalent in an area can all play a role.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And since Maple Ridge might be experiencing specific challenges that contribute to its higher crime rate, we'll delve into some of these factors a little bit later in our deep dive.
This is already making me think differently about the relationship between city size and safety.
For sure.
I'm really interested to see how these trends unfold as we explore more data. But before we get too deep into the analysis, let's take a step back and remember that these statistics, they kind of paint a broad picture.
For sure.
They don't necessarily tell the whole story.
Exactly, yeah. We need to remember that statistics are just one piece of the puzzle. They provide valuable insights, but it's equally important to consider individual experiences, community perceptions, and other factors that contribute to the overall feeling of safety in a given area.
It's not always just black and white, is it?
Never. It's way more complicated than that. It's important to remember that safety is kind of a multifaceted concept.
Right.
Statistics can provide a framework, but they don't always tell the whole story.
For sure.
Individual perceptions and experiences play a really crucial role in shaping our sense of security.
Absolutely. And those perceptions can vary greatly depending on like where you are within a city.
Yeah.
Even within a city with a low overall crime rate.
Exactly. Yeah. Different neighborhoods can have vastly different experiences.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
For instance, in Vancouver, areas with, high foot traffic and tourist attractions, they might see more incidents of pickpocketing or petty theft.
Makes sense. More people, more opportunity. What about residential areas?
Yeah. So residential neighborhoods, on the other hand, might experience more property crime.
Okay.
Things like car break-ins or home burglaries.
So even within a city that's considered generally safe, there can be pockets where certain types of crime are more prevalent.
Exactly.
This really highlights the importance of understanding the nuances of each area rather than just relying solely on overall crime rates.
Yeah, I think it also underscores the importance of, personal safety measures.
Right.
Regardless of what the statistics say. Taking precautions like being aware of your surroundings, not displaying valuables, trusting your instincts. These can significantly enhance your personal safety.
Yeah, it's not about living in fear. It's about being informed.
Exactly.
And proactive. Now let's shift gears a bit and dive into some specific crime trends in Greater Vancouver. The data reveals some interesting patterns that might surprise you.
All right, let's do it.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
One notable trend is the prevalence of theft across several cities. Vancouver in particular seems to have a significant issue with theft, potentially just due to its high population density.
Yeah, right. More people, more opportunities.
Which is consistent with what we were talking about before.
Yeah.
Are there any other types of crime that stand out in the data?
Interestingly, while Vancouver grapples with theft, West Vancouver, despite its low overall crime rate, is experiencing a surprising surge in vehicle theft.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, a little unexpected.
I wouldn't have expected that. What factors might be driving this trend in West Vancouver?
It's tough to pinpoint the exact causes without, further investigation.
Sure.
But it could be related to the types of vehicles common in the area, the accessibility of residential streets, or even organized crime patterns.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
This just goes to show that even in cities with low overall crime rates, there can be unexpected trends in specific types of crime.
Yeah.
It reinforces the need for a nuanced understanding of safety beyond just the overall numbers.
Exactly. Safety is not a monolithic concept. It's influenced by a really complex interplay of factors.
Yeah.
Including, population density, socioeconomic conditions, community dynamics, even the design of urban spaces.
It's like piecing together a puzzle.
Mm.
We have all these different pieces of information: crime rates, types of crime, population density, socioeconomic factors. And we need to consider how they all fit together to understand that bigger picture of safety in a particular area.
Yeah, and that's what makes this deep dive so fascinating. We're not just looking at numbers in isolation. We're trying to understand the stories behind those numbers.
Right.
And what they reveal about the complexities of safety in different communities.
Speaking of stories, remember, we're on a quest to unveil the safest city in Greater Vancouver based on the data we've explored. We've analyzed crime rates, CSI scores, and even delved into some specific crime trends. Are you ready to reveal which city takes the crown?
I am. But before we do, I think it's worth reiterating that, safety is subjective. What one person considers safe, another might not.
Right.
These rankings provide valuable insights, but they don't account for those individual perceptions or experiences.
That's a good point. Statistics can guide us, but they shouldn't dictate our feelings of safety, right?
Mm.
Ultimately, it's about finding a place where you feel comfortable and secure, regardless of what the data says.
100%. So, with that in mind, let's reveal the city that consistently emerged as a frontrunner in our analysis. Based on the data we've examined, the city with the lowest crime rate per 100,000 people and a significantly lower CSI score compared to other cities in the region is...
Drum roll, please.
North Vancouver.
North Vancouver. This isn't entirely surprising, given its consistently low numbers throughout our discussion, but it's still impressive to see it officially claim the title of safest city in Greater Vancouver based on these metrics.
Yeah, it really does seem to have found that winning formula for safety, perhaps its smaller population, stunning natural surroundings, and a strong sense of community, all kind of contribute to its low crime rates.
I'm starting to picture a move to North Vancouver myself. But seriously, this deep dive has been incredibly insightful. We've explored the complexities of crime and safety in Greater Vancouver, going beyond just the numbers to understand the nuances of different cities and neighborhoods.
Yeah, we've learned that population density isn't the only factor influencing crime rates, and even within cities considered safe, there can be variations in specific types of crime.
And most importantly, we've emphasized that safety is a multifaceted concept, influenced by individual experiences, community dynamics, and personal perceptions.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with a final thought. We focused on statistical safety, but what about the feeling of safety? How do factors like community cohesion, social trust, and even individual perceptions contribute to our overall sense of security?
Yeah, that is a great question to ponder. We often talk about safety in terms of like statistics and numbers, but that feeling of security, that peace of mind, that's just as important, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's about feeling connected to your community, trusting your neighbors, and feeling confident that you can navigate your surroundings without fear.
And those feelings can be influenced by so many things, right? Like the design of public spaces, the presence of community initiatives, even just the overall vibe of a neighborhood.
Exactly, yeah. And it's something to consider when choosing a place to live or even just to visit. Sometimes a place that might not have the lowest crime rate on paper can still feel incredibly safe because of those intangible factors.
This deep dive has really made me think about safety in like a whole new light. It's not just about like avoiding crime, it's about cultivating a sense of belonging and well-being in the places we live and visit.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So as we wrap up this exploration of safety in Greater Vancouver, I want to encourage you to, think beyond the statistics. Explore different neighborhoods, talk to residents, get a feel for the community, trust your instincts, and find a place where you truly feel at home.
That's great advice. And remember, knowledge is power. The more informed we are about crime trends, personal safety measures, and the factors that contribute to both statistical and perceived safety, the better equipped we are to make choices that align with our values and priorities.
Well said. And don't forget, this conversation doesn't end here. We encourage you to continue exploring these complexities of safety in your own communities.
We'd love to hear your thoughts, too. What resonated with you from this deep dive? What questions do you still have about safety in Greater Vancouver? Share your insights and experiences with us on social media using #DeepDiveSafety.
Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and stay safe.